So this is how the elimination diet works. For 3 to 6 weeks, you have to avoid certain food additives and some natural food chemicals called salicylates in most fruit and some vegetables, amines in protein foods, and natural flavour enhancers called glutamates. That's why I like to talk about fail-safe foods, meaning free of additives and low in salicylates, amines and flavour enhancers. As well, it is best to avoid perfumed products, and some children also need to avoid dairy products and wheat or gluten. The next step is to reintroduce one group of food chemicals at a time to find out exactly what's causing the problem. Some children are affected by only one food chemical and some react to most of them. We're going to see police in the UK using a 3-week elimination diet with chronic juvenile offenders. These kids were the worst of the worst. They had an average arrest rate of more than once a month, and you can see the dramatic changes for yourself. The diet I recommend is much easier to do, but gets the same results.
Superintendent Peter Bennett of the West Yorks Police hit the headlines last year when he announced that a juvenile delinquent had given up a life of crime after he'd been discovered to be allergic to milk and tomatoes.
It seems everybody has a favourite cause for crime. I don't go for any single cause at all. There may be a whole range of causes, but one cause that I am convinced needs attention is the question of nutritional health.
It's been known for years that a proportion of children with behaviour problems go on to commit crimes, and Superintendent Bennett wanted to see how many more of the young offenders in his area might be allergic to food. Kids like Dale, a persistent offender.
That's it, just hold it there.
And 9-year-old Wayne, a young vandal who has already caused over £30,000 worth of criminal damage. Also in trouble with the law, 12-year-old Jason, and a girl, 12-year-old Claire. In all, 8 children were found whose parents agreed to a unique experiment.
There's something to be said for you doing.
Running it, Dr. Leonard McEwen, a private specialist in food intolerance.
Okay, well, if we can get these to the school teachers and get them to assess them as well this week.
The children were to be put on the Great Ormond Street Few Foods diet.
What do you want to get out of all this?
Out of what?
Out of doing this diet, what do you think might be in it for you?
Peel.
Are you going to try and stick to it?
No, you've got to. Who says? Me. It's your fault, isn't it?
You made a promise to
Because the Few Foods diet is so complicated and restrictive, it's only done under medical supervision. It's also quite expensive, so for this project, a charity donated the food and delivered it to each of the parents.
Hello, come on in.
But would these problem children accept it? As it turned out, initially all of them did, although somewhat reluctantly. They were asked to continue the diet for 3 weeks and then assemble again to check progress. But within days, everyone had noticed the difference in the children's behaviour.
We know how difficult it was for you to try and manage those diets, and you all managed it almost perfectly. If you could see yourself sitting there, all quiet, compared with how long you could sit still last time we saw you, it is quite amazing.
The improvement in each child surprised and delighted their parents.
I called him the monster, didn't I? And then as he got better, I called him the little angel, which is saying something.
But it's true.
It was true. I really didn't believe that it were going to do any good. Nothing else we tried had, and I really couldn't see this making that much difference. You know, it's... She's like a completely different person. Everything about her is just completely different. if I hadn't have seen it in my own daughter, I'd never have believed it could be done just by changing the food that she ate.
Only a few weeks before, these two were almost at each other's throats. But how have the police seen the difference?
We found, with the introduction of the dietary changes, some dramatic improvements in behaviour. So much so that it surprised some of us ourselves. We didn't expect it to be so dramatic.